People are easily distracted by everything in the media. They would like to hear their guidance and listen to their intuition, but their intuition is overpowered by everything that is loud and shouting at them. It's delivered in a way that is overblown and significantly more embellished than it needs to be. People are also living in a polarized world. Everything you hear in the news is designed to polarize people into opposite groups. The red party is against the blue party. The green people are against the orange people. If you shuffle those papers, Ray, it's interfering with the audio. The vegans are against the carnivores. The masses are easily separated and segregated into groups who are against other groups. Any religion is against other religions. This just adds to the franticness of the world situation. Also, this polarization breeds anger amongst people. The political parties and polarized groups use anger for their own personal ends instead of listening to their guidance and grasp the fact that we are all one. A politician can focus on people's anger to get elected. Once the anger is in motion, it's hard to stop. These emotions become part of the fears going on in the world and lead to feelings that things are moving too fast. People do not have enough time to think things over and quietly meditate on the answers they receive before they take action. With social media, it's easy to be rude, angry, and harsh toward others you don't even know or will ever meet. People become closed-minded rather than open-minded and tolerant of others, or respectful of their opinions, even if they don't agree. We come from love and truth. When you take time to listen to us in your dreams and through the intuition that you receive throughout the day, you can overcome the franticness over the day after day routine. It's no wonder that people feel so separate. It's all because they can't slow down and hear the truth, an unbiased truth from the source. Summary: people are in such a hurry and so frantic in their lives that they shut out everyone else. Anger is used to polarize people and groups. Social media makes it easy to feel frantic to others. And how it works. A frantic life is easily resolved with the help of your guides. However, to achieve this, you must be totally open and willing to take action on the guidance the moment it comes through. It won't be what you thought it was, so get braced for new and unexpected directions. Your frantic life has caused you to lose perspective. It will be your ego that feels the blow, who will attempt to fight back. The ego will be hard to convince. To counteract that, write in your journal the guidance you are receiving. This is what you will need to do to combat that stubborn and insecure ego, so you, the real you, can begin to emerge. Okay.
And we got people piling in the door.
All right.
Let's go see who's here. Okay.
And thank you for coming. We really love what we do, and we really love helping others. All right. Service to others. That's what this is all about. And again, for all of you on Facebook that are watching this, if you want to join us, we'd love to have you join us right above the video that's playing right now live. Click on the link. It'll be the only link in that copy above the video. So you can actually get through into the system, register and your seat, and join us, all right? So you can interact with us.
There we go. Oh. Hi there. Let's turn people's mics on here.
All right, you guys. And here's a question to all of you. Did you all get Linda's weekly guided insights this morning? in your email box?
Yes, I did.
There.
Oh, now who do we have? Who did?
That's Jean. Jean
Oh,
Ballard.
good, Jean.
Mhm.
Glad to have you, Jean. And
Thank
what did the insight trigger in you, Jean? What is it that you want to talk to us about?
What it triggered is having me look back at everything that I've learned and feeling like I'm in this state of suspension right now.
State of what?
And
I didn't hear what
in a state of suspension.
suspension. Right.
Oh, shit.
So I don't know if it's a recalibration, or which I felt I just went through, or a state of suspension, but and just the fear of what is happening, what is changing, and where am I going forward to?
Okay. How long have you felt this way?
Probably about just a couple of weeks.
Just a couple of weeks. Okay. What triggered it?
What happened a couple weeks ago?
Yeah. What triggered it?
Well, actually, there wasn't anything that happened a couple of weeks ago. It's been building for 10 years, and right now I'm just I've been working at a healing business for 10 years and in a private business, and figuring out what is the next step. How does that unfold?
Okay.
Is it a larger,
You know what we're going to do? We're going to let your guides talk to you about this. Jean, right?
Jean.
Is it G-E-A-N? Jean.
Yeah.
Okay, Jean. We're going to let your guides talk to you about this. I don't know if you know how we do this and how we do this in my angel coaching sessions that I do with people around the world. All right. The guides come through and then I'll talk with you about it. All right.
Okay.
And then you'll give us feedback, and the guides, they may even come back at you and talk a little bit more about, what you just said or what we all just said. It's like a big round table, except your guides are here. All right.
Okay.
Is that the coolest? All right.
Yes, it's cool.
Okay. Now we're just gonna breathe for a minute, Jean. Jean.
Jeannie.
Jeannie. Okay. Thank you. I gotta get that right.
Like Jeannie in the bottle.
Well,
With the jet.
Okay, Jeannie. So stretch yourself out, Jeannie. Always.
Okay.
We want to connect with your guidance because they're always sending us guidance, but we're the ones that get in the way of that. Darn it, And we don't mean to, but being in these bodies and living in this world is a challenge, And they know that, by the way. So they're not critical of you. They just know what we need to do to break that that disconnection, So. Okay. Okay. Your spirit guides and angels are here with us now, Jeannie, and they're going to talk to you about this, what did she call it? This
Suspension.
suspension.
A feeling of a state of suspension.
Okay, in a state of suspension, at least you're not frozen. You're just kind of hanging there,
Yeah.
And here they go.
Hello, Jeannie. It's nice to be here with you this evening. This feeling of suspension is like treading water in your life. You're not moving forward, and you're not drowning either. This storm, let's call it, has gone on in your life for around 10 years, like you said. While it's difficult to calm a storm, it's much easier to calm yourself when you are in a storm. Eventually, the storm will pass and you will no longer be in a suspended mode.
Okay. Do you have a question on what they just said? They didn't give you a real specific answer here. What they're doing is they're talking to you about where you're at to get you to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Go ahead.
I heard you say they're talking.
Can you hear us?
Go ahead, Jean. Can you hear us?
Yes, I didn't hear Linda's.
Okay,
Okay,
so this is just a matter of you. Imagine that your guides are right physically here, like you could actually see them.
Yes,
They're
absolutely.
right here. Talk to them about what they just said.
Okay. What is the bigger movement that I'm supposed to take to
Right now,
mhm.
to pull you out of this suspended mode.
Yes.
Okay, here they go.
We would say to stop second guessing any decisions and getting overwhelmed with too many choices. It's like you are swimming in a lot of other people's expectations of you, and you are a little nervous about which way you should go.
Okay, your guides are right here. Talk to them about what they just said.
That I would say that feels somewhat true, although I don't know that other people have expectations for me. The expectations seem to be more my own, because this path, no one else I know in my family or in my circle of friends is on it except for me.
Okay, so here's what they're really saying to you. Here's what they're trying to convey to you, but you're missing it. Is
Okay.
you've got part of it, because when we're in it, Jeannie, we can't see our own stuff, So you caught part of it, which means you have some clarity around this. The part you don't have clarity around is the part where you're concerned about what other people are thinking about you. If and when you do make this branch off into this new direction, what they're going to say. Okay, they've already had judgment around you for whatever reason, all right? But now it's what you're going to do, and you are going to do it, all right? You're not going to let what other people think of you stop you from living your life. You're not going to do that, which is good. But that's what's been hanging you up. You've got this little bit of that left. It's a little insecurity left, that you would just wish they could be supportive of you. Actually help you, step into it. I mean, that's a stretch for them to do that, but, that's a bit much. But the part that's hanging you up is just that little tiny bit it's that little hair that's left, all right?
Oh, perfect, yes.
Yeah. So let's let them talk to you about what I just said. And here they go.
Be less sensitive to others' criticisms and stop worrying about what they will think once you move on. The whole reason a group of friends is because they don't want anyone to change. In fact, the more you find yourself changing, the more you will seek new friends.
Okay, and so let me do this. Let's go back to the session. You got the session today on Linda's weekly guided insights on this, okay? And the part that comes to my mind is where, let me find it, separate. Okay, this is about the group mentality. They talked about this being part of a group. It's the polarization is what it is. And it's that group mentality where people are polarized and then they feel stronger because they're now a collective. You know, they're a whole group, you know, that think the same way. And then here you are upsetting the apple cart, Jeannie. Okay. And you've got all these ideas that are awesome and, you know, interesting and somewhat daring when you look at it from their perspective. All right.
Yes.
So that's where it ties in today's insight. People are living frantic lives. Well, the only part of it that has made you frantic is that little bit that's left, just that little hair. It's just hanging there, all right? It's the only part, and that's what's making you frantic, is that you just need to forge through it and find people that actually appreciate you, that can help you look at yourself and see where that direction is, all right?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What kind of work do you do? Do you do some spiritual work, you said?
I do. I am a Healing Touch certified practitioner, but I also do family constellation and biological decoding and psychogenealogy.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
That is. It lets people dig in. Now, you do know about My Guided Journey, that part of this project, do you?
Yes.
Okay.
But just recently, because I just listened in this last week to your book on Audible.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, I didn't have this yet because it actually from Guided, you're talking about my flagship book, Guided, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I didn't actually have this until after Guided was published, and then Plowy, I got all this, you know, this response from thousands and thousands of readers of the book around the world. Mm-hmm. And they literally pulled this out of me, you know, Jeannie.
Well, I've seen it. I saw it on your website because I went to go.
Yeah, just go there and look at it. You can sign up for it. You can then it'll let you go to the page. Once you sign up for it and opt in, you can go to the page where it's got both versions, this size and the full size, and you can either you can either print it out or you can read it on your computer. But
yes.
There's videos. We did 18 weeks of videos for the 18 pages in part 2.
Wow.
That take you back through your life and unwind all that stuff that caused these conflicts now, you know. And it's with me, with the help of my guides, this book was written, and all of the fan base that came at me that wanted more, you know. So that's how this came about. So it's a good book. You'd probably get a lot out of it from the work that you do with other people, you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome, honey.
And there's Jasmine.
Jasmine.
Hi, Jasmine.
Where is
It's good to finally see you, Jasmine.
Now, where is she?
I know. I had a problem with my camera. I forgot I had to
Hi,
set
Jasmine.
looking the wrong way. And
You are so cute, Jasmine. How are you, Jasmine?
Jasmine's in Australia, right?
Jasmine
Sydney?
is-
Oh my gosh.
Melbourne.
What time is it there now,
Like
Jasmine?
17?
Really good time. You started at 11 a.m. I'm very impressed. I thought it would be, the hours would be out, but it's a very good time, 11 a.m.
Yeah, tomorrow. It's 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
How funny.
We have Linda's getting a big following in Australia and New Zealand. So
Jasmine, did you get Linda's weekly guided insights this morning?
Well, I don't know if I got it this morning. I just got this link, the FRANTIC talk link.
yeah.
Right.
Is it something else? I'm not
So
sure.
it's a different topic each Tuesday. You'll find just one topic on Tuesday morning in your mailbox, your email box, and that's the topic we talk about at night. That night.
Okay.
On Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
Right. I mean, Wednesday night in your case.
I think because I got it
Wednesday
yesterday.
morning.
I think.
Wednesday morning, right. Wednesday. What is that, Jasmine? Go ahead.
I think because I got it yesterday, then I'm wondering why.
Oh yeah, she got it yesterday.
That's funny. Well, that's what happens when we work globally, you know.
All right. So as usual, I did my homework, my research about franticness.
Ray does this. You guys.
Frantic. I thought it was pretty interesting.
And you know what it does when Ray comes off from his point of view? He's coming off from researching it. All right. After the fact, after the guides bring this information through, he'll do this just to put a different slant on the guidance. And I think it's interesting. So you go ahead, Ray.
All right. Okay, so first I like to find out what makes people frantic in their life. You know, why they have a frantic life. Well, the first thing I found out is that you can call a frantic life a lot of other things. Frantic can mean overwrought, overwhelmed, tense, agitated, nervous, on edge, keyed up, worked up, high-strung, neurotic, overexcited, beside yourself, distracted, distraught, and hysterical. And not hysterical funny. Hysterical the wrong way.
Oh, see, that's...
Okay? And then I asked myself, what actually happens physically when somebody's frantic? What causes them to be frantic from their situation? And it's because there's not enough cortisol in the brain that causes you to feel anxiety and overwhelm at the same time.
So what's the fix for that, Ray?
So the cortisol is a hormone, and that helps regulate that. And they said when the cortisol levels are low, the cortisol levels drop in the brain and get too low, the energy levels also drop. So the body compensates for the lack of energy by releasing adrenaline as a way of providing instant energy.
Mm.
So you get enough energy to make it through the day, but the overproduction of the adrenaline, because of the low cortisol, prevents you from sleeping at night, and it worsens the cycle because you lay there because you got this energy and you can't sleep, and you're thinking about all this stuff that's going on in your brain over and over and over.
Now, how did this all start? Recap.
Okay. You don't have enough cortisol in your brain, causes you to feel anxiety.
Why don't you have enough cortisol in the brain?
Well, it's a hormone. Cortisol does a lot of things. It helps you regulate your weight.
But what started that?
The worry.
Okay. Okay.
Your situation that you're upset about.
Okay. Here's.
Could I?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Could I make a point?
Sure.
I would say it would be your activated nervous system.
Right.
So the brain is observing everything that you're thinking and or experiencing, and it sends the nervous system, it activates the nervous system, and it goes from being in parasympathetic mode into sympathetic mode, which causes your overwhelm, which then results in what he's talking about.
So what starts it? What gets all this going the wrong way? Okay,
it's probably the amygdala part of the brain, which is about trust, safety.
There you go.
Fear, survival.
That's exactly right. That's right. That's right. So we go into that. Something in our life happened that caused us to panic. That's what that is. It's there's fear and there's love. Those are the headlines. Those are the only two things that exist. Everything underneath, like fear, is worry and all these other things that, we think it's as big as fear, especially when we're going through it, right? But it's really underneath the main heading of fear. Fear's got a hold. We let fear get in there and take over, and oh my God, that's where everything starts going against us, right?
Right.
Okay. So if we can just head it off right there where that fear started, this is why the journal was created, is so people could catch themselves before. And this is a very interesting journal. Jasmine, did you download this off my website?
I know that you've got it on the website.
Yeah. Did you get it? Did you actually get it?
Not yet.
Okay, not yet. Well, it's a really unique journal, and it really does help people get a hold of this before it gets a hold of them. And just like what you're talking about, Jeannie, the way this gets out of control, where it starts,
Mm-hmm.
And so, Ray, what else do we have here?
Well, it kind of cascades because, like Jeannie said, you know, you get hit with something and you get fearful. You get the fight or flight response.
Right.
And that starts, the cortisol levels are low and the adrenaline starts pumping. But you can't shut it off. You know, like you say, you have all this energy to make it through the day, and then you're laying in bed at night and the adrenaline's still pumping. And that adds to the feeling of overwhelm because now you can't sleep.
Yeah.
And the next day you feel terrible.
Yeah.
Because you didn't get enough sleep.
Right.
You didn't get any sleep. You know, they'll replay. This overwhelm starts to, you know, you'll lay there at 3 o'clock in the morning and every thought or doubt or fear that you've had in the last 20 years, it'll come into your mind. Whatever you're worrying about will play through your mind over and over, and you can't fall asleep.
Yeah. It's letting it run away with us is what, and a lot of people right now in the world are letting that happen. And they've done it for so long, they think that it's normal. It's, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, some people don't even think there's anything wrong with it. They just look at it like, well, you know, that's just life. Get over it. They think that's normal. And it's it's unhealthy. The health effects of this is enormous.
It is.
Yeah.
They went on to say in this article, or a couple articles I saw, that number one, life has been designed to be run by the franticness that goes on around you. It's designed to keep you distracted,
Right.
Unable to center yourself, learn who you really are, and what you're capable of doing.
Right. And living the life you intended, capable of doing what you're capable of doing. You know, missing your life. None of us are going to do that. We're not going to miss our life. You know, so.
It also, it says, disrupts your concentration enough, preventing you from getting things done or being able to finish projects. You got all these projects going on at the same time.
Overwhelmed.
You can't finish any of them. You work a little bit on this one, you run over here and work on that one in a frantic mode. Well, this one has to be done.
It's like spinning the plates and trying to keep them from falling, you know.
Yeah.
It's crazy, you know. Of course that doesn't work.
So then I started looking for, well, what can you do to get the cortisol levels back up naturally without, you know, any kind of drugs? And there was an article I saw had like 10 or 11 different things that you could do naturally to, and I could post the link later on. But one thing is breathing was very important.
Number one.
Breathing was real important, and it'll get your heart rate and your blood pressure back down where it's supposed to be. That was the main thing. And the other one of the things that said, get your spiritual life in order.
Right. Look what you guys are all about. You know, I mean, you're definitely doing the bottom line, the way I look at it, you guys, is we can't take any of this stuff with us when we leave this world. So what do we take with us? Hopefully, we take with us a better us than we were the first day we got here. Mm-hmm. That's what we take with us. We take with us the love that we learned and felt and experienced in this life, you know, and the love that we gave. And, you know, that's the stuff that matters. That's what really matters. That's what, it's by your deeds that you will be known. And that's what this is, you know. So that's what it's really all about.
You know how the guys always say, if there's something that you're trying to make a decision on, or something that's bothering you, or a situation you're in, you need to write it down in your journal.
Yeah.
And so once you write it down and you can look at it, it becomes real.
Yeah.
You know, if you're just rolling it around in your head all the time, it just rolls around your head.
Well, you can't fix something that you can't identify.
You can't study.
You've got to be able to identify it, like Ray said, write it down, so then you can observe it. And it seems like a slow poke kind of process in the beginning, okay? But after a while, once you get into this flow, into this new flow, boom, it just comes through like this. Guidance will be right there. You'll know what to do. You'll step right into action. You won't have to go through the motion of connecting with the guidance and writing it down. But we have to walk before we can run. We've got to do that. And so we can begin to connect with the guidance. Even after you learn to connect with it, still doesn't mean you don't need to write it down, because what'll happen when you start getting kind of, used to it and take it for granted, then it starts to slip off and slip away a little bit more. And you go, oh no, not again. So you have to start writing again. So you would just be better off just keeping the flow going, even if it's shorthand in your journal. And keep that process going in chronological order, date it. And in this journal, it triggers you to, it asks you all kinds of questions, and as you journal, and it walks you through a process that asks you the same questions each time, so that when you do refer back to it and look back at what you wrote, what you realized, what you were thinking about, actually, you'll realize that it wasn't just you, it was guidance coming through as well. You'll start to see it, but you can't see it if you didn't write it down,
It's interesting because just like I said, once you write it down, write down what's making you frantic, so you can study it. So what's causing you to feel overwhelmed, nervous, tense, agitated, short with other people, whatever it is, you have to write it down. And once you write that down, it becomes still. It stops.
That is good.
It becomes still, and you can look at it, and you can study it. Now, another thing it said, people who are always in this frantic lifestyle tend to ask themselves a lot of why questions, okay? All the questions they ask themselves are all why questions. Well, why does this always happen to me? Or why do I let myself get into these situations all the time? Why does this keep happening to me? Instead, stop asking yourself why questions and ask yourself how questions. How do I get out of this predicament? How do I stop this pattern from repeating over and over? How do I make the best of this type of situation? So no why questions, how questions.
Right, you move on from the whys, because it's the identifying it first. You've got to identify what it is. What is this? Why is this? How come it's me? How come me? You got to write it all down so you can identify it before you can take it to the next level, like what Ray's talking about. This becomes a vital part of your life. It becomes a working part of your life. Working part. It works.
When you ask the why questions, you see yourself as a victim. Why does this always happen?
Well, it has to identify it, Ray. It's okay to write it down, like however you have to do it. If it feels like you're a victim, then you feel like one, then dagnabbit, you are one for right now, just for this time, until you identify what it is, write it down, so you can look back at it, and like Ray's talking about, then you can see it, and then you go, well, that's not me. I'm not anybody's victim. You start to realize this is nonsense. This is out of control. You've been pushed around, or something happened, and only now you can look at it and get a hold of it and go, no, I've got boundaries. I'm setting my boundaries. I'm not letting this happen. I'm writing that down in my journal right underneath what I just identified, so that this does not need to happen again. And if it does, I go back to my journal where I wrote it, and I see what I did, and I go, okay, I got this. I'm not going to let anything happening in my life right now throw me back off course. No, I got this. I learned this. My lessons learned. I'm moving on from it. And sometimes from the people that try to push you back into it, okay? Sometimes there's some hard decisions that need to be made, and that moves you into the process, that moves you into the life you intended, that moves you into where you need to go. That's all. And yeah, some people might not like it.
Yeah.
In fact, in most cases, some people won't like it. In most cases, okay? So you guys just have to be all right with that as you live your life. Otherwise, you are living their life. You're not living your own. So yes. That's not why you came here.
Right. Well, I looked at this questioning further, and I saw that all the why questions, why is this always happening? Why am I like this? Those are not questions you'd ever ask your guides. The how questions are the questions you would ask your guides.
Right.
How do I get out of this? How do I fix this?
Where do I go from here?
Where do I go from here?
Right.
Those are solution type oriented questions. The why questions are just, oh, poor me, you know, I'm a victim.
Well, you got to start somewhere, though,
I
right?
know.
Sometimes in the beginning, I'm going to defend the person who feels that way, because in the beginning, sometimes because we haven't done this before, we haven't written it down and really had a record of what's going on in our life and dated it and kept it in order. We haven't. It's the first time we've ever done it. Most people, it's the first time they've ever done it. They've ever written it down, and so they can go back to it. So it's not that it may sound like you feel like a victim sometimes when you first start out, but then after a while you wise up to what's going on and you go, you know, no, that is not me. Even if it is me, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to live like that. So you move on from it. So the victim is okay if we feel like one sometimes, right? Everybody, in some way, somebody feels like they've been done wrong, okay, in some way. And that's a victim.
Okay.
Okay?
I think I remember feeling like that once or twice.
It's hard.
And that gets back to, like, in the journal on page, was it the second, part 2, chapter 2,
Yep.
ask.
Right. Ask.
How to ask your guides questions. The proper way of composing the right questions.
So now you're moving into the next part of it with asking, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you went through the elementary stages of writing
Writing
and
it down.
reflecting.
Writing it down, reflecting on it,
Okay.
looking at it so you can study it. You can't study it till you write it down.
Right, right.
Before that, you're just rolling it around in your head like a pinball.
And then
Comes flying down there and you hit it again and it goes back and bling, 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 bling.
that's what happens. That we don't, and what it comes down to is it's not living a conscious life. That's what we miss. If we're not writing it down so we can then examine it and make the changes that are solid. That's how solid changes happen and solid decisions happen going forward. Then, you know, we're just bumping along. And most people are just bumping along. And they will say things like, I don't have time. I've got kids to raise. I've got stuff to do. And they, you know, we had a woman say to us one time, she said, I love what you guys are doing. And, you know, but I don't have time to be spiritual. I need to make money. And it's, you know, we do need to make money. We do need to, you know, make a living and you know, but it gets carried away. It gets so carried away. And then people that have money become an even bigger problem because now they worry about losing their money. It's just, I don't know. We got lost along the way a long time ago. And that's how this all got to where it's at. And the world that we find ourselves in, that's how it got to where it's at. And that's why it needs people like all of us to help with the problem, the healing.
Yeah, and one thing when I was doing my research is a lot of the franticness revolves around money.
It does. Not enough, of lack of something somewhere.
Well, it also said it doesn't matter how much money you make. Multi-millionaires don't think they have enough money.
That's right. In fact, they're a bigger problem.
Well, they have to worry about how do they protect the money they have.
That's right.
Somebody's always out to get their money.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so it never ends. It's just, we're supposed to we came here in this world. This totally makes sense why we came here, to work through this, okay? And not spend our days living frantically. That's not why we came here. We did come here to observe that this is a real common issue in the world and what our place is in it, each one of us. And we elect our place in it to be of service to others, to help other people, you know, realize what that is. And through their guidance, through those guides, help them access that knowledge, that guidance, and help them move through it so that they realize they're not alone. That's a big part of this. None of us are alone in this. The guides, right. We didn't come here to fend for ourselves. They came along with us.
You knew you were going to need help.
Boy, ever. You know?
Yeah, that's the difference. I mean, you can't live by other people's. They said something to Jeannie in their message. You can't live by other people's expectations.
Right, right.
I mean, all these people have these expectations. Your friends, you want to stay their friends. You want to get along with your family. You want to get along with the people you work with, and you try to live up to their expectations, and that contributes to a lot of the franticness.
And if people expect things of you and it's aligned with you, bring it on. I mean, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But when they expect things from you that do not align with you, where they haven't considered you in the equation, then something's wrong with that.
Or you're the type of person that you want to please them so much, you put their concerns ahead of yours.
Oh yeah, that's just a doormat at that point. Then you've taken it to let's hope it never goes that way.
Yeah.
Again, this little journal will save you from doing that. All right. All right.
What happens is people that are always putting their family first, their kids first, their friends first, their coworkers first. Everybody sees them as what a nice person she is or he is. But at the end of the road, you missed your whole life.
So you guys, what do you guys want to talk about with regard to this session today?
Well, if you ask me what made me frantic, looking back, I've been looking for a job probably for the last 7 years, but also trying to get back into the interior design industry, which is very tough. And so I probably would have said, yes, that's really made me frantic, like sort of almost nonstop trying to kind of get the skills and opportunities to do that. So that was one thing if you just asked me off the top of my head.
Okay, let me stop you for a minute, Jasmine. Frantic about, what did she say?
Looking for a job?
But what kind of job was it you were looking for?
Interior design.
Interior design.
Interior design.
I didn't hear that. Okay. All right.
And at this point, I've actually decided I've let it go, actually, but I still feel like I'm getting guidance, actually, to keep pursuing. I feel like I'm finally going to get one in 2 to 3 weeks, but it's been such a long journey, I have to say, and it has made me frantic, like just not like focused like nonstop, not having more of a balance of other things, just trying to get this job, which has been very, very difficult.
Did you go to school for interior design or what?
In that time, yes.
Yeah, Do you love doing it?
Well, I think I used to. I think I've let it go because it's really quite difficult. The technology is really there's a lot of programs and the technology has put me off probably.
Yeah, it's important that you do something very well, whether it's interior design or, programming, coding, whatever. You take all those things that you do well and take an inventory, all right? And then look at those things that you do well and say, well, which ones do I really love doing? Because you might do a lot of things well, but you don't love to do it. You might be a good accountant, good with numbers, but you hate being an accountant.
And here, let me interject for a minute here. And Jasmine, you are in interior design.
Right.
I am. So I work weekends.
But you're not getting what I'm saying. You're not hearing what I'm saying. You are in interior design.
So what does that mean? I do have a job, but it's a casual job. It's only 2 days a week.
Okay.
And I'm only doing a small portion of. I want to do more. It's only it's more basic level of interior design.
Yeah. Interior design was, did you hear me use the word past tense was? Okay, it was a starting spot for you, a place to begin. Interior design now is a spiritual approach to helping people with their lives. That's what this interior design is. It's not the interior of a house I'm talking about. So this is about you helping people design their lives from the inside out. Okay? That has changed. That has changed for you.
Yes, yes. I have to agree. I've sort of really, I mean, I have all the skills that, I'm still I still need income. So I'm still
Okay.
pursuing it, but also definitely that is what has taken over. That's why I don't have the same desire and drive for it anymore.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a shortcut. Okay. I'm going to give you the shortcut that's right in front of you. And you will need a journal to do this because you won't be able to do this by yourself. So you can write in there the conflict that continues to go on within you. So this span between right now, today, where we are, July the 10th, and you start writing about what's this conflict in you. You don't want to really do interior design, but you need money to make a living. Okay, that's why you would be doing it. You need to keep telling yourself that and see it on paper that this is why you are pursuing interior design until you can realize that what you're going to realize. I'm not going to tell you what you're going to realize because you're going to see it clearly. You're going to see it soon if you start doing this work. You've got to start writing it down and showing yourself what's going on in here, in your own interior. Do you understand this, Jasmine?
Yes, I'm writing it down.
You've been going through this for 8 years. That's too long. You are tormenting yourself, and that's enough. No more tormenting Jasmine. No more of it, all right? So we're going to cut to the chase in this deal, and you start writing it down every day. In fact, today is your first day. 15 minutes a day. Everybody needs to do their journaling for 15 minutes a day. I don't care what you're writing in there, whatever comes to your mind, whatever you feel, whatever's going on in your life, spend 15 minutes writing it in your journal and dating it and closing it and keeping it in order, all right? And then tomorrow is another day, write it down. In 1 week, I want you, in 1 month, give yourself a whole month, 2 weeks, I don't know, not very long. And look back at what you wrote sequentially in order. And you're going to go, I have all the answers. I see it completely. I'm going to cut this stuff out, and I'm going after my life. I'm boldly going after it. Nothing stands in my way anymore. Frantic, that's other people's lives. That's not mine. My franticness is now on paper. I don't have it in here eating me up, wasting my life. Another week, another month, a year, no more. It's in here. And now I can see it and I can overcome it. But I can't do it until I write it down. Got to be written down.
And what you'll find in the journal is the pages in part 3 where you actually write, you do your journal writing. There's a lot of prompts. There's a lot of writing prompts in there that help you not just write down what you're conflicted about or what you thought about that day or what happened that day, but how does it make you feel? Okay? Where did the guidance come from? What did it come from? A dream when you were awake, when you were driving, when you were in the shower, from a song you heard, from a person who walked up to you and said something?
It builds your intuitive muscles.
Right. You're building up your intuition.
Right.
You're getting your antenna are getting a lot sharper.
Right.
All right. Write it down. How did you know it was guidance that came to you versus something that came from yourself?
And it's not something that questions you like some kind of stern teacher. It's just, what did it feel like? Write down what it felt like to you.
Right.
There's no right or wrong answer here. You write down what you know, all right? No one's going to look at this. This is between you and your guides.
Right. How did it make you feel? Write down how it made you feel. Write down what you realized from it. And then you write down what you're going to do with it. What action are you going to take right away?
Right.
That you can start applying it to your life right now.
Right. This is powerful.
Yeah. That's the third part of the journal. The second part of the journal is even more powerful when you take where you are now in your life in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and you go back. Linda walks you right back through your life, back to when you were born, when you came in here, right to the beginning. And what you realize as you walk backwards is that a lot of people taught you the wrong things. you know, school, parents, friends, family, government, everything. You were taught the wrong things.
You were born into a system.
Right.
With programs. And that's what, if we just let that happen in our life, that's what we become a product of. Okay, so where did we go in all that? Where are we in that equation? Well, if you're really looking for yourself in that deal, that's not what's encouraged in this life. So it takes you back to that part of yourself where you reclaim it and you reconnect that connection to your guides, to your higher self. The reason you came here, you start to know things, and you don't walk around bumping into things and not knowing what to do and lost. What that is you're in between this world, the world you came from, and the one you're in. And instead of them working together, they're crashing against each other. And that's what this journal does. It teaches you how to reclaim yourself, reconnect, and bring these two worlds together and no longer separate. We're not separate. And do it in a way that is grounded and it works in this world. It's not just all spiritual airy-fairy. You can't live like that. You've got to pull them together and work this out and become one piece again instead of splintered off or like you're just in this world and you're dragging a leg because half of you is missing. That's what's wrong with the way things are done in the world. And that's why we get off track, you know? You guys, what do you have to say?
I agree. It's very true.
It's real powerful. You know,
what I want to say is when you work with your journal, you guys, you get the journal and you start working with this, you come on Tuesdays with me and I'm going to help you with it, okay? But put some work into it. Start working your magic. Start writing down what's going on in you, in your life, and identifying it and putting it on paper. And then we've got something to work with on Tuesdays with you, okay? Mm-hmm. Because it's gonna speed up your life. You're gonna get through a bunch of stuff that's had you stuck for years, and you're gonna float and you're gonna move right through it. You're gonna become calmer because of it.
No more franticness.
No more franticness. That's what the world has too much of now. And how do we help other people? We help other people by perfecting it ourselves, you know? Like Jasmine, interior design, that's your interior design. It's truly interior.
You're rebuilding yourself.
Yeah, and other people. This is how we really do it. This is what's really important. After all, you can't take, you know, interior design in a house or an office building or whatever. You can't take any of that with you when you leave here. You know, this is what you take with you, what you became, you know. So that's the best investment in this life.
That's it.
Don't worry about the money. The money will work itself out if you write it down and you see what it is, okay? And let your guidance come through and show you, all right? And if you can't catch that guidance, come on Tuesdays and they'll show you right here, all right? So go ahead. Somebody tried to say something.
Yeah.
I was just saying it's very true. I do know that within myself that I'm interested in helping other people, like you're saying, redesign their own lives.
Right.
But it's a little bit like what you've been saying, but you're still caught up in, I have to have a job, I have to do this, you know, and like you're saying, the two things. And I know what I want to do, but I haven't probably quite resolved everything and how that's going to happen.
Right.
You will.
You know, just take, you know, Jasmine, instead of looking at it the way it has to be, like the way everyone said it's supposed to be and everything like that, you just go about doing it the way that you feel drawn to do it. If it means that you start working with animals, I mean, it could be something that makes no sense at all. You become an animal communicator. All of a sudden, you work with a vet and you're helping animals, you know, you're helping the mental and the emotional state of the animal in unison with the vet doing the technical stuff, you know, or something like that. I'm going off track so that you can see there's a lot of opportunities for you that you may not have looked at, you know. So
okay.
you let your heart Let your heart take you there. Pick the phone up. Go to some of these little events where people are doing the kind of thing that you'd like to do, and or where other people are doing something, you know, good, and maybe you could do something as in some kind of creative situation with them, where you can get together with them and you can compliment each other and even raise the bar higher and give a better service than anybody expected. And you know, you find your own way. That's what you need to do, because you are unique and really different in terms of with the world we live in. You know, you need to find your own way. It's not out there. It's not out there with some kind of career name for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has been very hard for me to find a job that I've found fulfilling. I pretty much just have done something that has been completely unsuitable and not enjoyed it because I needed the money.
And I want to say this, Jasmine. You used the word J-O-B, job, all right? When you do stuff like this and you actually write it down in your journal, you write it, what you said and felt, and you write it in your journal, you look back at the choice of words that you used that tell all the truth later on. It's amazing. And what the word job represents is when you work for somebody else and you do what you're told to do, all right? When you have your work, that's your career. That's what you do because of you. It's your work.
It's your magic.
It's you. And it's your mojo.
It's your magic mojo.
Right. And but when you set up to get a job, that no wonder you don't want that. It's got no soul, you know.
I only found one person that would hire me. Nobody else would hire me. He wouldn't even talk to me.
Raise the best.
Speaking of magic mojo, what's coming up next week?
Magic mojo. Okay. So how did you like this session, you guys?
Oh, it's great. I love it.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're so glad you came, and you know, do the work and bring it to us, and let's have your guides, you know, talk with you, and let's get in there, and we're going to have a closing message from the guides at the end of this. So hang in there with us. I'm just going to announce next week's Tuesday event, and here I go. Next Tuesday, July 17th, watch or interact with us right here on Zoom. In Linda's weekly guided insights, you will receive the link to join us, as well as in the event I post on my Facebook page at Linda Deir Author. Talk to your guides and to us and to the group 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern. To be published in next Tuesday mornings in Linda's weekly guided insights, the guides will be talking about you can't do this alone. You can't do this life alone, and you were never expected to. You knew this before you came here. You came into this world connected to your guides. What happened to that, and why is it that you never seem to be able to find happiness in your life? You've achieved what you desired, a good spouse, a good job, a nice home, and a car, but you want something more. Okay, so everybody that's living in this life, too many people feel like they are alone, or that they were dropped off in this world when they were born here to fend for themselves. You're on your own. That's it. You know, get your act together and become a responsible adult. Well, that's just like living in just this world, in this physical world. That's void of the person who came here from the other world, which happens to be the same world we go back to when we're released from this life, all right? So the world we came from, that's what we're trying to bring back. If we're just living in this world, this is a harsh reality. This is a scary place. Ever since I was 20 months old and I had that happen in my life, talks about it in Guided, where my mom almost killed me, and I was in total panic. And in a moment, in just one moment, I breathed out and I asked out loud for someone to help me, and they were all around me. My guides were all around me. It changed everything. And the key, the single thing that happened that made all the difference for me going forward was I knew that this life was not all there is. That was the biggest message that I got from them. I got a lot of messages from them, but that was the one that defined, that made me different from the beginning. I couldn't pretend I didn't know that in everything I did going forward. So what it did is it took the fear out of my life. I was no longer susceptible to running on panic mode, on fear mode. I no longer had, it was not appealing to me. I already knew to pull back and look at it and let myself be with it and not get sucked into it and pull these two worlds together and let them work for me. So that's what this next session is going to be about next week. You can't do this life alone, and you were not meant to. And you knew you weren't meant to. You knew you were not meant to. You knew it before you got here. Had you not known that before you got here, you never would have come here. From this perspective, from who you were before you got here, you never would have come here. Not without help. No way. So try to make it next week. It's going to be good. So
I will try to make it next week.
So they're going to wrap this session up on the topic, escaping a frantic life. And always breathe. Always remember to breathe. Treat yourself to that breath so you can start to clear out your head, and immediately the connection comes back. It really does, right? And here they go.
The franticness only exists because of your needs and wants. Do not concentrate on the needs and wants. Instead, study your gifts and talents and how you can share them with the world.
And how are you going to flush that out? You're going to start writing. You're going to start writing down what you feel, what you think it might be, how you feel good one day and not so good the next. Put it all in there. You won't see it until you see the connection, the patterns, the dots, where you connect the dots. It's like taking something, it's like reading part of Guided and taking one little piece of it out of context and trying to explain it when it really takes the whole story to connect with it, you know? It's your life. This is your life we're talking about here. Start documenting what's going on with it like you're writing your own story, because that's what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah. Jeannie.
Yes.
Jeannie.
Would you leave a review for Guided, please?
Yes, I will.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. That would be great.
All right.
All right, you guys.
Quick question, Linda. I want to make a session with you. So just when's your next session Australian time?
She wants to schedule another session.
So do we want to?
We don't have our schedule in front of us, but when would you like to do it?
I sent an email before and it was saying just Wednesdays and Fridays. So do I just only book Wednesdays and Fridays?
Yeah. That would be fine, Jasmine.
No, is that our Wednesdays and Fridays or your Wednesdays and Fridays?
That's where a little
Australian Wednesday and Friday.
Okay, yeah, you're 17 hours, I think, ahead
that
of us.
the way we did it last time, Jasmine,
That was fine.
was perfect.
Right.
So you pick the day that works best for you, and we'll let you know if we have if we're booked or not, and what we have available. Sometimes, I mean, we'll get bookings in between people talking to us. Are you available? And we'll get another coaching session coming in that they finished before that person went about putting their order in. You know, so
Okay.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Wednesdays and Fridays. I just want to work out.
Right. Those are usually real good for us.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure.
All right.
All right.
And we love helping all of you guys. So we'll see you guys next Tuesday. We love having you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Bye-bye,
Okay.
everybody.
Good
Bye.
night. Good night, you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.